Welcome back, everybody, to Outdoor Power Tech. I had a few requests over the last couple of years to show how to tune a chainsaw carburetor or to adjust it. And I actually was cutting a tree down at my house this past weekend and was using a couple of my saws. And this is one of my saws. It's a Pull & Pro. It is a 20-inch bar. I think it's a 48cc, I believe. But I went through the carburetor on because I had been sitting for a few years, but went through the carburetor, got it cleaned out. I have ran it, but I'm going to show you how to adjust your carburetor if you have a brand new one or if you rebuilt it. So let me get you set up so you can see. And if you're going to be doing this, I suggest you put it in a vise and tighten it down really tight, or do it outside on the ground and hold your unit down near the top over here with your foot like you normally would, and adjust it, because you don't want your hands, feet, or anything near that blade while it's spinning, because you do have to adjust this with the blade on and with the blade at the right tension to get a good tuning on it. All right, I'll be right back when I get you set up. All right, now that we all set up, I'm gonna pull this cord out of the way so y'all can get a little bit of better view. Before you do this, you're gonna want to make sure your chainsaw has spark, and you wanna make sure it has good compression and gas, because you wouldn't believe the times I have in the past thought it was a carburetor adjustment issue and adjusted, and then find out the coil pack wasn't firing. But that, that was years ago. But knock those two things out first. Make sure you have spark, make sure you have good compression, make sure you have gas. And if you don't know, if you don't have a compression test gauge, then what you can do is you can pick your unit up. You can pick your unit up by the pull cord and pick up on it. And you should be able to pick up your unit without the string pull. If your string pulls out like really fast when you lift up on it, then your compression's pretty low. But I mean, it will pull out if it pulls out like that, when you're trying to pull it up into the air, then you got good compression, which you can see. And that would be lifting my chainsaw up in the air if I didn't have it tied down to my vise. But that would be a good rule of thumb to see if you have good compression. If it picks your unit up and slowly drops down slowly, then you got good compression. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get this back around for the time being. Let's get y'all zoomed back in. Okay, on your chainsaw, whatever chainsaw you have, you either going to have just one jet or you're going to have two jets. Now, I'm pretty sure the one jets are just for the high end, I believe. But 99% of the time, you're going to have two adjustment screws here, a low and a high. And the low is always closest to the cylinder. Okay? So either you've put on a new carburetor or you have rebuilt a carburetor. I want to take you through the steps of getting it set up, your initial setup first. Okay, and what I have done is I have put a white line on my adjustment tool here. And I'm going to start with the low end first. Let me pull y'all back so you can see the line on the... Okay, you can see the line on there. Let's not worry about that right now first. What you want to do first is screw in your jet adjustment screw all the way in slowly until it bottoms out. Don't go no further than that, because you'll mess up the tip of this. Okay, once you got it to where it bottomed out, get your screwdriver, your adjustment tool, and with your white line that you have painted on top, have that facing straight up and slide onto that adjustment screw. Okay, and a good rule of thumb on all 2-cycle outdoor power stuff like this, chainsaws, weed eaters, leaf blowers, a good rule of thumb is to turn when you're doing your first initial setup is do 1 turn and then a quarter. We're going to do the same steps on the high jet, okay? Got it bottomed out now. All right, we're going to do 1 and a quarter. All right. Now mine's probably going to fire up a lot faster than yours because I have done running it when I was cutting the tree down this past weekend, and it already has gas in the carburetor. So yours will either have a primer bulb that you can prime up, or you'll just have a choke. But this initial setup will get it to crank up and fire and run. Okay? I'm trying to go over everything before I crank it up and run because it's going to be loud. So it's going to be really loud. But so once you have that done, you're going to want to choke it, crank it up. If it fires and cranks up and runs, you're going to want to let it idle for a good 5 to 10 minutes to get it real good and hot, because you want it hot whenever you do your adjustments on your carburetor. Okay? So when it's in that time period of warming up, if your chain starts spinning while it's warming up, you're going to want to get your Phillips head screwdriver or a flathead, whichever one it is on your unit, and you'll have a idle control up here. You're going to want to back that off to where your chain's not spinning no more. Where I like my chainsaws to idle is once you get all this tuned right and it's running, idling, do your idle screw up till you hear your clutch ting on the bell housing of your clutch. You'll hear it'll be making a ding, 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 ding noise like that. And you want to back off a good half a turn to a whole turn. And that's after it's hot. And you might have to bring it down when you crank it up and it's cold if it's out of adjustment that way. But you don't want your chain spinning at all. Okay, let's get this cranked up and see if it's going to run on this setting. All right, sure it's on. Make sure if you have any vices, you have it good and tight. We're going to fire it up. It might be out of gas. Probably. Okay. So fired up. Let me get the choke back on. Okay, so it's not wanting to stay idling right now. Let me idle it up just a little bit. I took all this stuff out of adjustment just for this purpose. Okay, I just went back out a quarter turn on my low. So that would be 1.5 turn on my low end. okay? I'm gonna have to go out just a little further on my low end. This chainsaw, guys, has always been this way. The low end has always wanted to be richer. So yours will fall between this line, but after I get this just a little richer, I'm gonna crank this up, and you're gonna see me turning this, and I'm gonna be giving it gas until it stops bogging. You'll tell the difference as I'm turning. Just watch. When I turn it out, you can hear it start to bog down just a little bit. And then I started to turn it in slowly until it cleared out. So we got it where it's idling good. Let's check the response on it. I'm going to let it get really good and hot. Because I didn't have a hot when I started here. After telling y'all it should be hot. So I'm going to let it get hot. Just a few more minutes and we'll do a final adjustment on it. Alright, it's warmed up. Idle it up a little bit. And that's how you do it. Of course, I've been doing this for a long time, so, and every single unit's different. I will say this, if you rebuilt your carburetor and those first initial turns, you having to go more than, I'd say, 2 full turns out on your low and high, or low, just to get it to even pop, you still having a carburetor issue. Definitely still having a carburetor issue, because that's real rich 2 turns out. So let's see if it's gonna crank back up now. Turn it on. Guys, there you have it. This spring, I'll try to do tune a weed eater for y'all. Same principle. I'll try to get that out for you too. But there you go. I hope that helped explain a little bit of how to tune one of these carburetors. And hope it helps somebody. And until next time, we'll see you later.